Hey everyone, this is Tracy with Color Me This. Today is episode 217, and we are continuing on with this fish page. And before I move past the fish, I really like these dark blue areas here, and I want to get more of a deep blue in all of the little nooks and crannies of the scales. And in order to get that nice deep blue, I'm going to add one more color called Gray Blue, number 142. So this will, like I said, I was suspicious that we would end up having the coloring take 3 days instead of 2. And so I am actually coloring a little earlier today. Hub has a social thing to do this afternoon. So I thought I would pop in here and get this darkening vision that I have for the shadows of the fish finished early, and then if I happen to be able to get the whole 45 minutes done this early, that's fine, but at least if I can get this vision started, I think I am going to go with a limited palette. The only color for sure I will need to add in the house is the glow for the windows that I will want. And then from there, I have to decide if I'm just going to keep the flowers being pinks and purples, the green being the teal. I may still, I have, aside from this one blue, I have not added the darker tones. I will probably go with a darker teal, which I mentioned yesterday. I've already grabbed this as the dark blue. I already have the darkest purple pulled. And the pink, I will probably have to go to some sort of a dark maroon maybe for shadows. I also have to do some darkening around the fins and the tail. I did some shading right here yesterday. I'm feeling very good about how this fish looks so far with my vision. And I like the sort of multiple tones that I've given the scales. One other possibility that I was considering was adding, like an aging looking brown or tan tone to the whole image. And I opted against that because I had already told myself I wanted it to be very vibrant and bright, so that would have toned the whole image down, and I didn't want to do that. on the green areas, I feel the tooth is filled in, and so I have a bit of a slick resistant feel, which is making me push a little harder in the nooks where I have the tooth completely filled in with the teal. I just have to push harder, and I am happy. And then down here in the purple, I have not applied as much, so it's going, the shadows of the blue is going in a lot easier, but I really like it. One of my favorite style of Copic colored stamped images are ones that have a really deep shadow, so that the colors, it makes the highlights really pop. And that comes to mind because, as I was saying yesterday, I pulled out all of my non-Stampin' Up! Stamps. I have a whole bunch of different images, all coloring. Things like Whimsy Stamps is a brand that makes really cute animals and fairies. And I have quite a few stamps from them, and these are all old. Who knows what they have now? I haven't even been to those websites in years. I even think that one or two of my I had all of my stamps back at the time where the accident happened, with our trailer being destroyed on the highway in Texas. A couple of the books of stamps were recovered by the crew, and I had 2 sets of Copics. I had my regular big box set of the whole set. I think there's 358 total. And then I had some super fine nib squares, original squares. I think I had about 28 or 30 of them in their own black Copic container. And those were recovered. And then these stamps that I have, and I kept all of my original paperwork, all the packaging. I was kind of crazy then. So I have all that. And I just put them, they were in boxes. I had put them in the boxes way back when. Not really liking how the 3-ring binder system worked. Oh, look at that. So yeah, that is what I had envisioned. So we need a little bit of shading down here along the bottom. Very nice. So everything went back in the binders. I have new binders. The old binders were kind of beat up, road rash, so to speak, because they were found on the highway. So these are new binders, D-ring shaped, so that everything lays flat. So the next thing I may do is take a blender just doing a little bit of shading right here. I did not think this would take too long to do. Nice, nice. So yeah, blender, I might be blending out some of these mixed tones. In the tail, and then this little, I don't know what this is called. Something fancy, I'm sure. All right, so what I'm going to do, I have the colors right here, and I am going to pull out the flower colors. Without having grabbed the dark, I'm going to go ahead and use the pinks as I have them. I will need to angle my camera, see, so I can get to the house flowers. So the yellow will go in the centers and will also go in the windows. And hopefully I will remember, I've decided that this right here is like a deck level. So it's open. These three hexagons are yellow, they're windows. This is a big window. Windows, windows. These could be shutters, so that's maybe what I'll end up doing. I'm going to make some of these pink, some of these purple, those little pom-poms. I'll have to decide what those are going to be. I'm going to grab the lavender. All right, so the lightest pink is light rosy pink 86. The lavender is the lightest Lilac 41. Now I'm going to grab the one darker purple, Purple 65. I'm going for Heather Violet 107, which I believe is the third darkest color. So I'm skipping, these are so small, I am skipping the lighter than this tone. Going now with the darkest, which is called Plum 127. And we're just going to darken up parts of these pink flowers, trying to vary it a little bit. And now I'm going down to my fish. I actually think that what has happened the purple along this part of it actually is turned a little less purpley. So I'm using the darkest pink, which is kind of my crossover color. All right, now back to the lightest pink. And I decided that my green, I'm going to stick with the teals. This is the middle purple. So this particular flower, I'm just making it a hybrid of a little pink and a little purple. Okay, I see a little bit to fill in here. I don't mind a little bit of white, but just a little bit. Okay, moving on to the green, starting with the lightest color. I don't know if you guys got to see all these flowers here. I might have been off the page. Okay, lightest green done. Middle green. Moving on to the darkest green. Now this is aqua green. So those other two, it's light aqua green 114 was the lightest, and light sea green 75 was the middle green, and the dark green is aqua green 134. All right, I am going to grab a yellow. I am going to grab our favorite. I still want to run a test and find out how many sets have a canary yellow and they call it number 4. I will have to do some tallying of that. These 2 lanterns. And yes, I am going outside the lines to make a little bit of a glow. I said that this is going to be a wall of windows. These are going to be windows. I feel like at least making this be somewhat glowy, maybe not as dark as the actual windows. Okay. And then I said that these are going to be shutters, so I won't color those yet. We have these pom-pom flowers, and I believe I'm gonna go with light blue. So I'm grabbing the lightest blue, cerulean blue, number 3. Going to one darker. I will sharpen this. I am grabbing the blue, which is number 7. I do think that I am going to make I called them orange slices yesterday because that's what they look somewhat like. We're going to move down so you can see them, and I think they're going to be green shrubs. Since the whole back of the fish is green, I think that makes sense to me. That's the middle green. Aqua green 134. I'm going to use in the kind of the centers to darken that up. And the shadows. So I do not want to add a bunch more colors. I do have to pull a darker teal. The darker teal is for the foliage. So let's see which tone I want to go with. I am looking at my swatch. Here's my swatch. And if I am looking for a darker, we've got the light aqua right here, light sea green, and then 134 aqua right there is my darkest. So I can go as dark as the dark bluish green. So you can see I can just keep going down the line, and I think I am going to go with 155. But I could pick these two and do 109, which is right next to it. The bluish green. I'm going to be working on this vegetation. I will probably vary the stalk here. Oh, so I am going to pause. It is my mom calling me. I'm sure she has an update. So when I come back, I will continue coloring the greens. All right, I am back. Hub is off on his social thing, and Mom and I got caught up. So I was working on making the stalks of these long kelp strands have some varying colors. I have my two darker colors that I chose. Dark bluish green is the darkest, 155, bluish green 100, and then I'm pulling from the three greens that I had off in my Lazy Susan. The darkest one is aqua green 134. And I realize that I am now working on the kelp, which you can't see the whole thing unless I rotate sideways. So if I rotate this sideways for you, you can see the whole thing. So that's what we will do. I can even zoom it in a little bit. So we will work on this half of the kelp. I've now going to grab the darkest, which is the dark bluish green. I was at 33 minutes, so we will just keep on keeping on till about 45. This dark blue-green is a little bit scratchy. I'm seeing. I just rotated it, and now it's better. There must be something. I will sharpen it. Okay, so let's get Moving to the middle green of my dark colors, 109 bluish green. Lightest is aqua green 134. I can even go one with this little bit of white that I have left. I can fill that in with the second to lightest teal. So moving on to this other tendril, starting with the darkest. All right, second darkest color. And the lightest of this chunk, aqua green. And again, I still am going to bring in the one lighter than this. So this makes us using a grand total of 5 teals, light to dark. Okay, now I am going to grab the 4th lightest, light sea green 75. Now, adding this light color. All right, we have the tendrils done. I'm going to rotate back this way. The last thing that I would like to do, we just have a couple of minutes left. I want to do a little burnishing on the fish. I have my Caran d'Ache Full Blender Bright, and we do have, like, on the, if we start at the top of the flowers, I see some white, and rather than go back in with a color, I can just take this Full Blender Bright. I don't use blenders all that often, and I thought with the multicolored work on the tail and the fins that this might work nicely, and it can also help finish off the flowers. Just does a really quick blending and filling in any tooth in these small areas. All right, so let's see if we can smooth out the tail. And we want to keep the colors distinct. This is why I didn't want to use a color for the tail. I just want to smooth over and fill in any tooth, but keep the colors still separate. I don't want them to muddy themselves and each other. So I hope you can see how easy this is working. Let's get the underfin. I'm sure there's a name for whatever this fish body part is. We're going to get the back. We are just about out of time. So that means that we will do the last few colors. So I want to keep the colors here separate and the little highlights. So this can just be some smoothing. I like the variation that I see. Brightens everything up. I like him. He's looking great. All right, so as I said, tomorrow we will finish off the little house bits and we will play with the bubbles. And then we will be ready to move on to the ducks. So do all of the YouTube things, like, share, comment, and consider subscribing. And I will meet you all back here tomorrow for another daily color. See you then.